Hey guys, Jordan here, and today we're going to talk all about how to dominate your local market. This is one of our all-time favorite strategies. It's really unique. I feel like a lot of people have never heard of it or have never tried anything like it, but it's one that's just done extremely well in our own business and for a lot of our clients. And so we wanted to include it as a bonus here just because we think it could be super, super, super valuable for you. And it's something that, like I said, it's a little bit of a unique strategy. And so we have this extra PDF for you that you can download in this section. It'll help you to kind of walk through with the video. But in the video today, I'm going to walk through the PDF. It's just your checklist of the steps. And I'm going to walk you through step by step of what you need to do and show you exactly how to do that. And this is really for anyone that wants to run ads on Facebook and on Instagram and, like we said, dominate your local market. So this is a very local approach. It's not for targeting the entire United States. This is for, you're a wedding photographer in Philadelphia and you want brides in your area. So this is how you're going to dominate the market. So step one is to create an awesome video that's a recommended 20 to 30 seconds. And so let me scroll so you can't see all of my steps or you'll get distracted. But just keep in mind 20 to 30 seconds is ideal. And it doesn't need to be professional. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to hire a crew and get some amazing branded video together. If you can, power to you. I think those videos are incredible and they work super well. But for us, some of our best performing videos are when we pick up our iPhone and record it outside of our RV or walking around and being our goofy selves. And I think that there's a lot to be said for just authentic content and not something that's super curated. So I'm all for professional video content if you have something like that. The biggest thing that you want to make sure is just that it's on brand for you. It really represents who you are and what you do, and that it's really going to capture the attention of your ideal audience and your ideal, whether it's your dream bride or whoever you're going to be working for. And so your video can be a little about you. It can be answering some questions. It can be a variety of things. A lot of ours are, teaching on a little bit or kind of talking about a pain point that we solve. And you always want to make sure at the end of the first video that you do want to include some kind of call to action. I recommend putting it in the video itself. Once you have your video ready to go, you're ready for step one of this ad strategy. So I'm going to head over to our business manager. And if you guys are on the right, just in the business manager settings, I'll pull that up so you can see it. If you just go to business.facebook.com, you can get to your business manager home. As a side note, if you are running ads, please, please, please use Business Manager and use the Ads Manager and never just click Boost from on the ad. So once you're in Business Manager, like I said, go to business.facebook.com. If you don't know if you have one, all you need to do is go to that URL and it'll either log you in or it'll ask you to create one. It's super easy. So when you're in Business Manager, you're going to go to your All Tools, and under your assets, you'll have videos. So we have quite a few videos in here and we've used them a lot. You might have seen some of these. Let's see. I'll pick one that I think would be a good fit for one that we've used before. We've used this one in an example a lot. So this one is, actually we'll use this one. This one's 26 seconds long. This one's 15 seconds long. Both of them would work. I think this one is for a challenge we ran. So let's see. Yes, up for a challenge. So you can see this one's actually made for Instagram stories, but you'll get the idea here. Kind of has some, you can do the text over the images with Instagram stories. Don't really do that if you're going to use desktop or mobile, just because there is a 20% guideline with Facebook that if you have more than 20% of your image or your video covered in text, they don't automatically reject it anymore like they used to, but you will get penalized for that. So this is where you can upload your videos, choose your videos, see them. That's step one. Step two is going to be actually creating the first ad. So we're going to go into Ads Manager. And I'm going to show you an example of this. It's not going to be super into detail, but it'll give you exactly what you need to do start to finish for you to run one yourself. So I'm going to go into Create. So for this method, it's called the carpet bombing method. And so it really is meant to just carpet bomb a local, super hyper targeted area. And because of that, the objective isn't super important here. And I kind of hate saying that because the objective is a really, really important part of running an ad. And for those who aren't as familiar with running ads, your objective is part of the campaign level, and it's what your goal is. So what action do you want people to take? For this one, I'm going to use video views. We've used traffic in this campaign or for this carpet bombing technique, and it works really well. If you have the budget, I would test both of them. They'll both help you at the end of the day to get people to view the video, but we are going to use video views for this one because I think it's the easiest to teach and just works super well with this carpet bombing effort. So we'll use video views. And I'm going to say test carpet bomb ad. So for this, the audience is less important than other techniques. So this is a huge disclaimer. We are all about targeting right. I think this is one of the biggest places that people miss out when they run ads. It's one of the biggest places that people waste money when they run ads. There's just a lot that you can do right and a lot that you can do wrong when it comes to targeting on Facebook. I think that's why a lot of people feel like they're not getting great results, is because they're just not running them in the right way. Thankfully for this carpet bombing technique, we're more concerned with the area and just flooding that area with your beautiful smiling face than exactly the targeting and picking the interests. And I'll explain why in a minute. So let's just say you're a wedding photographer in Philly. We'll keep using that example. So we're going to pick Philadelphia as our audience or as our location. Potential reach is 3.9 million. That is pretty large, especially since we're just targeting one city. I would say as a guideline, if you can get at least 350,000 to 400,000 people in the audience, that's ideal. If you have a small market, try to broaden it a little bit more. If you have a super big market, we'll try to reduce it a little bit. But as long as it's kind of over a few 100,000 in that audience, that's a really great place to start. So for this one, we're just going to decrease the radius and see what happens. And I'm going through this as I explain it to you guys, so you get to see the real over-the-shoulder effort here. So 2.7 million. I think it was at 4 something before. And I'll make it women. So let's do women. And let's say if you're a wedding professional, let's just say 25 to 40 is a pretty wide range. So when you're doing the targeting for this, okay, you can see we're at 570 people. We don't want to go much smaller than that. When you're doing this ad and this carpet bombing technique, you want to leave your audience and your targeting as broad as possible. The reason is you're showing a video and you're optimizing for views. And so if it's not the right fit of person, they're not going to watch your video. And you might have some people that are bored and just watch, I guess your mom might watch it. But ideally, if someone watches 75% or more of your video, especially with the 20 to 30 second length, they are going to be the right people. And so this is kind of a really awesome way to get Facebook to figure out who your ideal audience is for you, rather than you go in and assume and write all your targeting options in here. So for this, I really want to encourage you, broaden up your age range a little. You might even want to make it all if you're men and women, if it gets too small of a potential reach, but find that radius around your local market, get a wider age range, and don't touch any of the targeting. And we're just going to go down to placements. For this one, we're going to get rid of Instagram. Well, this example I used was an Instagram story, so that was probably a bad example. But we're going to get rid of the audience network. We're not going to use Messenger. It won't let you. It's a video. But we're right for this one. Let's just do Facebook feeds. So get rid of Insta articles, get rid of InStream, all that stuff. So if you want to keep it super simple, all you need to do is Facebook feeds. You could do Instagram feeds too. Let's do that. So feeds. Let's keep it simple. Scroll all the way down. This is an example budget, so I'm not going to worry about changing this, but I would say if you can start higher, do that. You don't want to fluctuate your budget too much. You don't want to spend $100 the first day, $20 the second day, $50 the third day. It'll kind of throw out Facebook's algorithm out of whack. So don't plan on changing it too much. I do like to start higher for the first few days because I think that it lets Facebook do its do its jam and really start to get a lot of data for you, which is what we want. The whole point of this first part of the video ad is to get a ton of data. And so if you look at this next step, we're going to run an ad of the video to that people in the geographic area. And then what we're going to be doing is creating an audience of people who watched 75% or more of that video. And so because of that, it's important to get a lot of people in that audience. And that's why you want to use a higher budget to start so that you build that audience up. So we're going to click continue. So you're going to pick your Facebook page. Make sure you pick your Instagram page. Don't let it be a dummy content. Make sure it's actually the one that you have linked. Because if you don't link it, Facebook will just generate one that looks like you. And so we already picked a video, so it's only going to populate these two. But typically when you create an ad, you have image options as well, carousel options. Make sure you pick either single video. Slideshow can work, but I would definitely recommend single video if you have an actual video to use. So we're going to pick one from the video library. So let's see. I know that Pete made an audience of one before, so I'm going to pick that one. Guys, I told you we use this a lot. This is one of our best strategies, so you're getting the goods. Okay, we're going to pick this one. Okay, so you'll make sure that you generate captions. Make sure you go in and review those so they're correct. Captions can be super, super, super helpful to get someone to stop. Another tip for when you create your video, this one's Instagram specifically. So again, this is kind of a poor example. You'll want to use a regular sized ad here without the text, but this is an example that I'm using. Make sure that you do something that catches someone's attention as they're scrolling. So you'll see some people kind of do the waves. Some people kind of do like the, hey, stop, look at me. You don't need to be, way out there, but definitely do something that's going to grab someone's attention in the first 3 seconds. That way they want to watch the rest if they are your right person. So when we're done, when you're done generating the captions, you'll want to go in here. You'll want to create text that says, hey there, wedding photographer, up for a challenge. Your text is going to be specific to what your video is. I recommend keeping this casual, keeping it looking like it's an organic post on your feed. That way people don't think it's, an ad. This whole point is to get someone engaged with the video and not necessarily worried about the conversions on this. So we're going to go down, our pixels in there, and we're going to confirm this ad and have it run. I'm not going to do that because this is an example, but that's the first step of creating the video and running that ad to target your geographic area with that first video that you created. The third step is going to be creating a custom audience of people who watched the video from your first ad. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Back under assets, you're going to go to audiences. And we have a ton of custom audiences. I'm going to show you how to do it from the beginning. So just go create audience, custom audience. And for those who aren't so familiar with audiences and custom audiences, these are essentially data points that you're giving Facebook of people who are your ideal clients, your ideal audience. So you can use a customer file like your email list, the traffic on your website if you have an app. We're going to go and click engagement. And we're going to use video as the engagement. So you have a few different options here, but we're going to use video. And the content type is going to be people who have viewed at least 75% of your video. You can do 50 if your audience isn't huge. If you don't have a big audience or you don't have a huge budget and you don't get a lot of people in the audience of 75%, you can drop it down to 50, but I wouldn't really encourage you to go less than that. The whole point of this is to keep your targeting broad for the first part, and then by creating an audience of people who have watched at least half or ideally 3/4 of your video, that'll show that they're actually really interested in you and whatever you offered or talked about in the video. So I'm going to click 75, and then we're going to choose which video. So again, make sure you choose the same video that we're using as an example. 365 days is fine, and we're just going to do test video 75% viewed, just so you know which one if you try with 50 versus 75. And we'll create the audience. We already have one, so I'm not going to create it. Actually, I'll create it and I'll delete it. So you can see it takes a few minutes to actually work. It'll show you populating in the meantime. I'll scroll down and show you one that we already have populated. But while this is populating and while your ad is running and getting, this audience bigger, you want to kind of keep an eye on it. Ideally, if you can get a few hundred people in that audience, that's ideal. Over 1,000 is much better, just because Facebook won't really show you the data until it's less than 1,000. You could still use that and build that custom audience, but getting 1,000 people that have viewed at least half or 3/4 of your video is the sweet spot that you want to keep an eye out for. So I'm going to scroll down and find a video. Okay, so I'm going to choose this one. This is actually a video we did, and we actually made it even higher. We said how to watch 95%. So they pretty much watched the entire video, and there's 1,900 people in that audience. So that's a really good one for us to use. I would say if you can get 95, that's great. 75, again, is the sweet spot. Don't drop below 50% of audience being viewed. So once you have that custom audience created and ready to use, now it's time to go on to the retargeting part. So I'll bring this checklist back up. So we've created a really awesome video. We've run an ad for that video in your specific area. We've created an audience of people who have watched your video. And now we're going to retarget that custom audience with an epic offer. And so essentially the point here is that someone scrolled, they saw your video, and they liked it enough to watch almost all of it, if not the entire thing. We're going to go through and target them again with your offer. So this can be a regular ad in terms of it can just be a text ad. It can be another video ad. It should be a different one. But this might just be a text that says, pretty standard ad of, hey, if my video was about I think it was about a challenge that we did. So this one might say, hey, enroll now, or free challenge, or something along those lines. And we're going to retarget the audience that we just made with this new ad. And so when you go into the audience targeting part of creating an ad, you're just going to click the custom audience. And that is what makes this carpet bombing technique super, super amazing. Because again, you're only targeting people who have shown interest by engaging with your other videos. So you really don't need to worry about targeting. You can put a layer like engaged over it, just because that, if you're a wedding photographer, that you want them to be engaged. But again, that might limit your audience too much. So don't worry about targeting options. Just retarget that smaller custom audience with your awesome, awesome, awesome offer. And make sure that when you're retargeting them, that you use a really strong call to action. You have an awesome landing page if you're using that. So you might retarget them with a conversion ad or a traffic ad. Those are two different kinds of objectives. And then in those cases, you want to make sure you have an amazing landing page that's going to convert. So as great as this targeting strategy is, people are going to convert because of your landing page, because of your offer. So really make sure that that is all aligned, and you will absolutely get leads. We've never run these ads for ourselves or for clients and not have gotten leads through this strategy. So believe me when I say this is going to work for you. It's going to be awesome. Just make sure that you do it right. If you aren't going to create a landing page, you could use a lead generation ad. So let me go in and show you so you're not getting confused here. So when you're creating an ad campaign with the offer, let's just say we're going to use traffic to keep it simple. Actually, we'll use conversions just to keep it simple. Test. This is where the magic happens. So you created an awesome video. You promoted that video just to your local area. And now you're retargeting that exact much smaller audience, which is totally fine because they're your peeps. We're going to target that audience with this amazing offer. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click here and we're going to use the custom audience. I think mine has 95%, so I'll click that. That one. So you'll see, don't worry if it says this is unavailable. This is not Facebook's most reliable stat, but we know it had about 1,900 people in this audience based off of the asset manager that we were using. So all we want to do now is use that audience. You can, again, change some of that age and a little bit of if you need a gender, and then use the targeting. Make sure you add Philadelphia, although it should be there already because it was the first. That was the first part of the kind of excluding them out. And for this one, you can use more placements. You can kind of open that up. Again, this is your offer. So this is like your call to action. What do you want them to do? What are you looking for? Leads? Are you looking for email downloads? Are you looking for new inquiries for, your wedding venue? Are you looking for people to schedule a call with you? That is the goal of this one, is running an ad almost like normal, like whatever your actual call to action conversion ad is going to be. You're just relying on the audience that you created with your awesome carpet bombing video. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope that you can go through this checklist, create a really awesome video, run traffic to the video in your area, create an audience based off of the people who watched that first video, retarget that audience with an epic offer, send them to a landing page or a lead form, convert those bad boys, and grow your business and just completely dominate your local market. So I really, really hope that was helpful. I know that's a lot. So that's why we put this checklist together, because it can be a little bit confusing to work through. Let us know if you guys have questions, but we promise if you implement this in your business, if you try this out, you're going to see insane results. We really, really love using this for ourselves, and we've just seen it work so incredibly well with local businesses and local markets. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I know your ads are going to be awesome. Let us know if you have questions, and we can't wait to see you guys dominate your local markets.